That did not take long. The devs have already nerfed Wolverine. After buffing him going into the season, less than a week later, they realized how much of a problem they created, so they toned him down. And I did start playing Season 3 today, and it's funny because the patch came out today, but Wolverine was banned in every game that I played. So maybe people don't know that the patch came out today, or maybe they know it's out and they still don't want to see Wolverine out there. I ain't mad. Black Panther was also getting banned today when I played, and I'm not mad at that ban either because he's a problem. I actually have a gameplay coming up. I'm going to show you. I had a crazy battle with a Black Panther coming after Jeff, stalking me all game long, and it is one hell of a battle. It is a funny battle, and it's my rank up game for Grandmaster 1. Let's get it. In the last video, I talked about the ranking system, going from season to season when they drop you down several ranks. And most people are saying, well, it's not really a problem that they do that because everybody's going down in ranks. So when you start playing, you're going to be playing with people that are down in ranks. It's going to be equal. On paper, that's what it seems like is happening, but in reality, with the matchmaking, that is not what is happening. A perfect example is when you're a new player. And this is what happened to me when I started playing in Season 2. I was Bronze 3, but in my lobbies, I had people that were Gold and even Plat that got knocked down to Bronze. So they're in my games, they're in my lobbies. As a new player, I had to be in lobbies with people that have already played the game. They understand the game, all the characters, the maps, all the abilities, and I don't know anything. I'm starting from scratch. That's a big mismatch that the game is creating by dropping the ranks. There's no placement matches, so you mess it up. You're messing up the matchmaking because out of the 12 players, how many of those players are actually Bronze 3 new players and how many got dropped down from the season before? And then this problem with the matchmaking continues as I rise, because let's say I get out of Bronze. I go up to Silver, I go up to Gold. Maybe it takes me 2 weeks, or maybe it takes me 3 weeks, I don't know. So eventually I get into Gold and I'm expecting, okay, now I'm gonna be playing against Gold players. But guess what? There's Grandmaster players that could be in the Gold lobbies because they dropped down to 9 levels. And maybe they didn't play Season 2 at the start of the season. So it took me 3 weeks or whatever to get to Gold. Maybe they started playing 3 weeks in. So they're still in Gold. So as the season progresses, yes, these people will rise back up again. They'll get into the higher lobbies. But there's going to be players that haven't played for a while, and they're going to overlap with the players who are naturally rising from the bottom. So no matter what lobbies you're in, whether it's Silver, Gold, Plat, Diamond, you're going to have people who are not supposed to be there, who are supposed to be a lot higher because they got dropped down and they just haven't climbed up yet to recover. And then you have people who are supposed to be there. They've been climbing up, but now they have to play the people who are supposed to be all the way up there. You don't see a problem with that? You don't see how the game is forcing bad matchmaking because of the ranks being dropped in between the seasons? With no placement matches, no other method. It's just as simple as, hey, you're going down this number at the start. It creates a lot of these mismatches. Now, I've also done a ton of research. I've looked at my games as I've been rising because I've gone all the way from Bronze, all the way up into Grandmasters you're seeing in Season 2. So I've seen it all. And the matchmaking is hilarious. You don't know how many times before the match starts, you know when they're showing everybody's player cards, you don't know how many times I'm looking at the comparison and I'm seeing the other team. They've got 4 players that are Grandmaster, that used to be Grandmaster. When I hit Grandmaster in Season 2, it said something like 93% of players are below this rank. And once you hit Grandmaster and beyond and you start going up, the game gives you a crest to put on your player card. So Grandmaster gets one, and then the next rank gets a different one, and then the next one, etc. So when you're in the pre-game lobby before the game and you see that there's 4 players that they've hit Grandmaster before in previous seasons, they're all on the same team. On your team, you don't have any players with a crest. You're saying to yourself, wait a second, Why would they do that in the matchmaking? Why would they put all 4 of the players that have hit Grandmaster before on the other team? Why wouldn't they spread them out? Why wouldn't they put 2 on my team, 2 on the other team? Or maybe even if they did 1 on their team and 3 on mine, that would make a little bit of sense. But when all 4 of the players who have a crest are on the same team, and then my team doesn't have one, what do you think is gonna happen? You're gonna get stomped. And that's exactly what's happening. You're in games, you're getting stomped. And I remember I used to ask myself, I used to say, how are these people in gold? How are these people in plat? How come my teammates, it's like they've never played this game before, they've never played this map before, they're not switching players, they're not countering, they only know how to play this one character, they're a one trick, the other team is perfect, they're like a pro league team, and now it makes sense. We know that the matchmaking is rigged because there's so much evidence. When they're putting these teams together, they're definitely not trying to balance the teams out at all. They're not, because it makes no sense. That example right there is perfect with the crest. You see all these crests, they're on one team and the other team doesn't have any. Come on now. So the reason why you're getting stomped and why your teammates, they're struggling so hard, it's because they're going up against players who are way higher. They're supposed to be much higher in the ranks. They're not supposed to be in a game with somebody that's 9 levels better, but that's what's happening. The matchmaking is creating these matchups, and then you're getting stomped. And then people are quitting the games. Because if you're getting stomped, some people can't take that. They can't take the stomp, so they quit. Now it's a 5v6, now it's a 4v6. You can't win 5v6, 4v6. This is a team game. Everybody's got to be on the same page. You got to play together. You got to sacrifice. You got to play your roles. They got to play their roles. It is a team game. And when the matchmaking is putting the teams together, it only takes 1 or maybe 2 players that are misplaced, that are not balanced correctly. 2 really good players. If you just put them on the same team, that is enough to completely dominate the game. If there's 12 players in the lobby and 2 of them have the Grandmaster crest and you put both of them on the same team, they're probably gonna beast and feast on the other team. Probably. It's not 100%. Maybe it doesn't always work out that way. But if you play this game, I know you've seen those player cards when everyone's loading in and you're thinking, wow, all the crests, they're over there, they're not over here. Uh-oh. And look at this cheese, maximum pulse. Oh, Jeff just completely ruined my ult. That's tough. That's very tough. But then he just throws me back here. That didn't really do much. See, that's the problem with Jeff. I love Jeff. I love playing with Jeff, but some maps, you just can't get to the edge of the map. So sometimes you can only really use your ult maybe at the start of the map or maybe at the end, but maybe in the middle there's no ledges, and in some matches, some maps, they don't have any ledges, so it's better to just use somebody else. Then of course you've got teammates. Usually the teammates are in the chat complaining about Jeff. You don't know how many games I'm in there, they're like, do not use Jeff. People are angry when you pull out that Jeff, they really are. So that Jeff, it did not help them out. They're stuck at 2 points. So if we get the full 3, we get the dub. Now that I've started playing season 3, I think it was a good idea to wait almost a week, not quite, but I didn't really see anybody using Phoenix, insta-lock in Phoenix. I did see Phoenix in a game of mine, but it's not like on day 1 when everybody's gonna be trying to play with the new character, and then some people might even be throwing because they don't know how to use her because she's brand new. Like when Ultron came out, I remember people were throwing hard because they just wanted to try him out. So it might be best to just avoid that first weekend when a character comes out, because you know everyone's going to be trying him out and you could be losing games. They could be throwing. The excitement, everybody's trying to try her out. Although I noticed that maybe with Phoenix, because she's hit scan, Phoenix is basically like Hela. She really is. She's basically another version of Hela, and most people that play this game, they don't use Hela. Maybe it's because you need good aim. I don't know. So maybe that's why I'm not really seeing that many of them out here, because people realize, okay, she's actually a little bit difficult to use. She's good. She's not bad. We talked about her ult. It's not that crazy. It sounds like it's going to be a problem, but then it doesn't actually do what you think it's gonna do. And as a healer, that's what I love to do. When I see somebody using a cooldown or an ult on one of my teammates, I immediately start healing the teammate. Because their damage, they're not gonna be able to get them up out of there if you fight fire with fire. If you heal while they deal, you do that dance, they're not gonna have enough, because a lot of these characters, their combos, you need to hit all of the combos in one go with no healing to get them up out of there. But if there's any level of healing, then that character can survive, especially if they're throwing damage back as they're getting hit and as you're healing them. A really good example is Magic. Magic is a menace. Magic can get you up out of there with her combos. But if you can just dodge one of her strikes, or instead of dodging, if you can get healed as she's trying to do it, then she doesn't have enough damage to kill you. So that's why when you see a Magic stepping through the disc, don't just ignore that. Turn around, hit the Magic. If you're a healer, you have to immediately start healing who she's targeting. And she has to stay focused on one character. She doesn't have enough damage to hit two characters at once to bounce back and forth. She's got to target one at a time. So you know that. You see her targeting somebody, heal that person, and then her cooldowns are done. Now what is she gonna do? Same thing with everybody else. Iron Fist, Black Panther, although Black Panther is so fast. Black Panther is, I'm surprised that people are not asking for Black Panther to be patched. I mean, you do see some people saying he needs to be patched. He's probably the toughest because he's so fast. He will kill you so fast. And look at that teamwork. Look how I got the bubble from Magneto. Look, that was perfect timing. As soon as I ult, he's like, here's your bubble so that you can get that triple kill. You see what I'm saying? You're not going to see that happening in the lower lobbies. That's tough. That's why I got to get back up here, baby. The teamwork is something else. We're getting close to that third point, though. The other team, they made a big mistake. See, they had a bad ult, a bad Jeff ult. My ult was good because I got him off the ledge. The other Jeff on the other team made a new move. Used the ult and it did nothing. So now let's see if we can capitalize and get this dub. We still got 2 minutes to push this thing just a few more steps. What a battle right here. I'm just hanging around in the back making it splash. Mr. Splash Man. I'll make it splash, man. I've got another ult. Squirrel Girl is one of the most annoying characters, isn't she? Actually, a lot of characters are annoying. I think we all have characters that we hate going up against and we hate seeing out there. They really did a good job of making some rage-inducing characters. I'm gonna ult again. There really isn't a ledge to get to, but it's just all about getting them off the point so we can move the cart forward and we can win the game. Another MVP performance from Jeff. Good game again, 3-2. This wasn't a stomp. This was a competitive game. A 3-2 score, that's a good back and forth game. You love to see it. I'm really impressed with the quality of games and the competition I've gotten up here in these higher ranks. This has been a lot of fun. Give that guy a map. Merch is now available at chrissmooth.com, shipping worldwide. My songs, He Quit the Game, Lob City, and My Camo are now available on all streaming platforms. But look what I'm gonna do to that. I'm gonna block that dunk. Get that cheese out of here. When I did that, I said, all right, Cap might be the character for me. What rhymes with cash? I just put Doctor Strange to the floor.